In this video, we'll go through a demo of IBM Spectrum Protect Plus. First, let's start with the Spectrum Protect Plus architecture. Here, on the left-hand side, we start with the key components, the virtual environments. Spectrum Protect Plus supports both VMware as well as Hyper-V. The components of Spectrum Protect Plus are a management server, which is the orchestration layer, followed by a Spectrum Protect Plus storage repository, also called as vSnap. vSnap is a scalable storage pool built in combination with the Spectrum Protect Plus software, and this can be defined either as a virtual server, deployed as a virtual appliance, or installed in separate physical servers. The Spectrum Protect Plus management server communicates with the virtual environment by leveraging API calls. All operations here are agentless. The API calls are used as part of the backup mechanism to schedule policies and also hold a metadata catalog. The Protect Plus then kicks off a block level incremental forever backup to the vSnap storage pool. Each backup is stored as an immutable snapshot, and each copy can be leveraged as a full recovery point. You can then use these backup images to restore whether back to an original virtual environment for recovery or other use cases like test dev, disaster recovery, or DevOps. Finally, if desired, you can tier the data to a Spectrum Protect server. The data can be backed up directly from the source, leveraging the same API calls for VMware, or it can be offloaded from a Spectrum Protect Plus vSnap storage repository onto the Spectrum Protect server and tiered to multiple different storage options. Let's go ahead and take a look at the user interface of Spectrum Protect Plus. Here, I have the login screen to the Spectrum Protect Plus portal. IBM Spectrum Protect Plus is deployed as a virtual appliance and comes predefined with service level agreements. At first login, Spectrum Protect Plus provides a dashboard view of the protection status as well as the storage summary. Here, an administrator or a user can quickly take a look at the data that is protected in terms of protected VMs, the unprotected VMs, the backup tasks that are active, and the latest failures. The dashboard also provides a quick overview of the total capacity for backup storage, the amount of data backed up, and the storage efficiencies. Spectrum Protect Plus provides a scalable storage offering called vSnap. The dashboard also provides a quick overview of the utilization rates of all the vSnap appliances. Protect Plus offers predefined SLAs. These are service level agreements defined by gold, silver, and bronze that display the retention and the frequency of each backup. The dashboard identifies how many VMs belong to a certain policy and a certain SLA. It also provides information about the number of recovery points per vSnap appliance and the data that was offloaded to a Spectrum Protect server. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to set up a VMware backup. Spectrum Protect Plus supports two hypervisors, VMware and Hyper-V. For this demo, we'll look at the workflow for VMware Backup. To set up a backup, we'll go into Hypervisor, VMware, and Backup. The design principles for Spectrum Protect Plus is to make it very easy and intuitive for the VMware administrators and the backup administrators. They simply register a VMware vCenter, select the VMs, and assign an SLA. To do that, let's go into the Manage Server screen, click the plus sign, and enter the details of a vCenter. The details that are required are the hostname or the IP address of a vCenter and user credentials that has access for taking a backup and performing recovery. There are additional options here, in particular to integrate with the Spectrum Protect server, where a user registers the hostname and user information of the Spectrum Protect components. Once a vCenter is registered, you can go ahead and see all the virtual machines and the data centers that belong to that vCenter. You can browse for individual virtual machines or quickly search for them using wildcard entries. Once a VM is identified, you can go ahead and select them and apply an SLA. And these SLAs are predefined. So you can see a gold, silver, or bronze, and they are defined by the frequency as well as the retention policy. So for your critical production servers, you can go ahead and apply a gold policy, have a default policy for all VMs in the bronze category, and so on. To apply one, simply click the Save button and it gets assigned to a VM. Protect Plus also offers filters like list all the unprotected VMs. Thereby, a virtual machine administrator always knows the protection status of a virtual machine. There are also filters to view the virtual machines by a policy. Additional options or advanced options are provided for the user where they can go ahead and select a file level recovery capability or truncating the log specifically for a SQL server. Policy monitoring is enabled in the same UI. Here, the users can see the policy protection at a high level, which gives you information about the start time, the end time, the status, how many VMs are protected, and the number of VMs that succeeded. For advanced logs, they can simply browse through it and get additional details. These logs can be downloaded as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look at restores. Spectrum Protect Plus offers multiple recovery types. Here, just like the backup scenario, they can browse and identify individual virtual machines and add them to a shopping cart. They can also search for them. Let's go ahead and do a wildcard search entry to list all the virtual machines that belong to a category. The same shopping cart model applies to these virtual machines as well. They can go ahead and select multiple VMs in this cart, list them in a particular sequence, and either run an on-demand restore or schedule it to be run in a repeatable fashion. Recovery applies to different use cases. It could be a test scenario where a developer or a quality assurance engineer wants to test certain VMs. The test mode recovers the virtual machines selected in the shopping cart directly from the snapshot within a few minutes. If the request is to recover a virtual machine back to the original environment, they can go ahead and select the production mode. This, after instantly recovering VM from a snapshot, initiates a data transfer operation in the background. Users can continue running the virtual machine and data transferred and synced to the original production environment in the background. For operations like DevOps, there is access to a clone mode. This clone mode leverages virtual machine APIs and goes ahead and spin up brand new environments with near production data in a completely fenced off environment. So one user interface provides a simple and easy recovery utility for day-to-day restores and also provides advanced recovery options for a DevOps use case or a production-based disasters. In addition to choosing the type, they can also choose a different destination. Users can recover back to the original host or cluster or restore to a completely new VMware environment. And when doing so, they can reassign network settings. And these networks could be back to using the original subnet or the VLAN, or create a completely new virtual machine network mapping where if a source belongs to, say, a 192 subnet, you can restore a VM into a completely different subnet and assign a new static IP address. Additional options like data stores, VM folders can be changed at the recovery point. To monitor these operations, Spectrum Protect Plus provides a job sessions view. Here you can monitor the progress, the status, as well as the duration of these recoveries. In a test mode, when a VM is spun up, Spectrum Protect Plus keeps track of all those copies and displays it under the active clone section. So any VM that is working off of a backup copy can be immediately identified and advanced tasks can be performed on those. If testing is complete, they can go ahead and clean up the virtual machine. If the testing is complete and they want to make a copy permanent, they can go ahead and click the Make Permanent operation. In addition to providing a virtual machine level and a virtual disk level recovery capability, Spectrum Protect Plus also offers global file search and recovery. Global file and recovery capability is a unique offering by Spectrum Protect Plus. Instead of identifying the virtual machine and searching for a file within a VM, the global nature of the indexing allows end users to search and perform tasks like e-discovery across hundreds of VMs, across millions of files in a single searchable interface. The global indexing allows users to enter wildcard entries to search across multiple backup instances, across hypervisors supported both VMware and Hyper-V, and different operating systems, Windows and Linux. They can get to see the list of all the files that matches this particular search pattern, and also Protect Plus provides the different versions for each file. They can simply select the latest version or choose an alternate version and recover to any location that they desire. Let's now take a look at the SLA policy. IBM Spectrum Protect Plus comes predefined with a gold, silver, and bronze SLA. These SLAs define the frequency and the retention. If the users want to customize, they can simply edit an SLA policy or add a new SLA policy. Here, they can define the retention as well as the frequency and choose additional options like offloading it to a Spectrum Protect server. Once an SLA is defined, they can go ahead and apply it to any virtual machine that they need to back up. Spectrum Protect Plus also offers reporting capabilities within the same UI. These reports are defined by application group, protection compliance, storage utilization, and virtual machine environment. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a simple VM SLA compliance policy. This compliance policy report shows all the virtual machines that belong to the SLA policy and shows a quick status of them. Here, based on the schedule, it identifies if a VM is compliant and it falls within that SLA scheme associated with that SLA policy. These reports can be scheduled and emailed and downloaded in multiple different formats.